We all love a good transformation story, right? Well, Laura Spath's is one of the most dramatic you'll probably ever see, and it's all thanks to the carnivore diet. But what happens when that success you see on the outside? What if it's hiding a story that's way, way more complicated? And this quote, this right here, is the whole paradox we're diving into. The skinnier I got, the worse my health got. I mean, how is that even possible, right? How can a diet that people praise for its healing power actually lead to worse health? Especially when, on the surface, everything looked so successful. And oh man, the success was visible. We're talking a staggering 120 pounds, gone in just 10 months. I mean, that's a radical transformation. So to really get how an amazing result like that could be hiding this, brewing health crisis, we've got to go back. Back to the beginning. Okay, so it all really started with her why. You see, at just 33 years old, this is long before she'd even heard of carnivore, Laura felt like she was, in her own words, completely falling apart. And look, this was not her first rodeo, not by a long shot. Her life was basically a decades-long roller coaster of different diets. It started with emotional eating when she was a teen, then you get to college, and yeah, the classic Taco Bell diet kicks in. She even tried veganism, lost 50 pounds, but her hair started falling out. The pattern was always the same. She could lose the weight, sure, but she could never, ever keep it off. So by the time she was 33, the consequences of this whole cycle, they just hit rock bottom. She was pre-diabetic, a disease that, ran in her family. Her body was literally breaking down. She needed knee surgery just to be able to walk. And on top of that, she was dealing with this cascade of awful, painful, chronic issues. Everything from digestive problems and gallstones to just severe acne. This wasn't just about weight anymore. This was about survival. So her path to healing, it actually started with keto. But the real turning point, the thing that changed everything, was this kind of accidental switch to an even stricter diet, carnivore. And the change itself? Incredibly simple. See, her version of keto still had all those healthy extras, things like low-carb tortillas, Quest bars, nuts, all the veggies. But strict carnivore, that was a total reset. She just cut all of that out. It was just meat. Literally nothing else. You know where her big aha moment came from? A taco salad. Seriously. So after about a week of accidentally eating nothing but meat, she decides to have a salad where the only plant in it was a huge pile of lettuce. And the result? She said it tore me up literally. A rock-hard gut, horrible digestive pain, and that's when it clicked for her. Even these so-called healthy plants were the real source of her inflammation. And this is where the story gets really powerful. The real healing began. This wasn't just about the pounds dropping anymore. Suddenly, her knee and wrist arthritis just vanished. The inflammation, the severe acne, gone. Her chronic digestive issues, healed completely. And then, about 60 days in, this mental fog that she didn't even know she had, it just lifted. So this brings us right back to that paradox we started with. It's like she'd found this miracle cure, right? But then she started using it for all the wrong reasons. She stopped chasing healthy and started chasing skinny. And on the outside, the success was undeniable. We're talking from a size 22 all the way down to a size 2. To the rest of the world, it looks like she had absolutely won. But inside, her body was telling a very, very different story. Yeah, she'd fallen right into that skinny but unhealthy trap. She got obsessed with the number on the scale, obsessed with her loose skin, and she started doing everything wrong. We're talking over-fasting constantly, not eating nearly enough protein, and exercising way too much just to chase a number. And the results? They were disastrous. Her hair started falling out again. Her whole hormonal system just crashed. She lost her cycle for 6 months. She'd achieved skinny, all right? But she'd completely lost her health in the process. But you know what? This failure is what led to her most important breakthrough. It actually forced her to create a brand new set of rules for herself. And these weren't rules for getting skinny. These were rules for getting truly, sustainably healthy. So her hard-won wisdom, it really boils down to these 4 rules. Okay, step 1, prioritize protein. Her rule of thumb is to aim for about 1 gram of protein per pound of your ideal body weight. Step 2, fasting is a tool, it's not a dogma. You can't overdo it, and you absolutely have to eat enough in between your fasts. Step 3, no cheat days. Because if you feel like you need a cheat day, you're on a diet, not a lifestyle. And finally, step 4, and this is maybe the most important one, know thyself. You have to be brutally honest about whether you can actually handle moderation.
Now, this next one, it's a tough pill to swallow for a lot of people, but it is absolutely central to her whole philosophy. Her argument is pretty blunt. For most people who have really struggled with obesity, who have been in that place, moderation is basically a myth. For her, the only real path to freedom wasn't trying to moderate, it was total restriction. So after hearing all of this, it's totally natural to be asking, okay, so what's the perfect carnivore meal plan? What exactly am I supposed to eat?
And her answer to that is maybe the most important lesson of all. There isn't one. There's no perfect plan. She really stresses that if you try to just mirror someone else's journey, copy their exact meals, their fasting schedule, it's a recipe for failure because your body isn't their body. Your journey is not their journey.
All right, so let's wrap this up. What's the big takeaway from this incredible and, let's be honest, pretty complicated journey? Well, it all comes down to this right here. This is the core message. She realized that by restricting the very foods that used to control her, she wasn't a slave to them anymore. That constant mental obsession with food, it just vanished. So what looked like extreme restriction from the outside actually felt like total freedom on the inside. And that really leaves us with a final question, one that goes way beyond just diet. What if the very things we think are restricting us are actually the only things that can truly set us free?